Hey guys, welcome back to the Tough Love Podcast. Today we're going to talk about building out your best team. So one of the things that I think so many of us can resonate with is that when you have the wrong teammates, right? And this goes all the way back to whether you played sports in high school, college, or beyond, the energy wasn't there. And one of the big things that I've noticed, in the recent years is that I spend a lot more time studying leadership. And I think that, as an individual, in what I do, my track record speaks for itself. I've done some great work. But as a leader, I realized that I needed to do a lot of work on that and that I needed to be more consistent with regards to the message and the energy and the communication level. Then once I felt like I started getting that down, I thought the most powerful message was hiring like-minded people. Because if you are not, congruent with them in communication, you're never going to get to getting them to be on the same page, no less going in the same direction. And I think so many of us, try to put the square in the round peg in the wrong place, forcing it. And, you're wasting time. And, this podcast is about being efficient. And what I'm talking about is training your team is such a delicate and deliberate and concise process. And I heard somebody talk about this and I thought about it with my business. And it's something that, again, working on leadership is that every person that works for you should have a manuscript of their job and they should be able to write it out and recite it and memorize it and teach someone else to come in and do their job. Meaning if somebody steps out, they're sick, they step away, they go on vacation, there's no lapse in productivity. The trust component is this isn't about having a replacement manual for the person if you're planning on firing them. This is about them caring about the business and someone stepping in because they can't be there, but yet they're always present because what they do lives there in those books or, the notes that they've left, a manuscript, if you will. And, so many of these pearls that I've been reading, I'm actively trying to implement because, again, as a leader, I think you need to be solution-based. I think you need to be a forward thinker. I think you need to be, a diehard optimist. And I also think, and this is one thing that I've prided myself on in the last year, be the hardest worker in the room. And, let them know that you're going to, roll up your sleeves and you're going to grind with them. Because I don't care what anybody says. If you look at it in sports, you talk about the GOAT, Michael Jordan, every book, every writer, every sports writer, every coach says the same thing. Michael was built different. Michael was the first one in, the last one out. He outworked everybody. He was a fierce competitor. He sought out the best player to dominate them. And we can take lessons from how Michael lived his sports life and put that into our way of developing, our business is saying, listen, you may not want to be that full throttle because again, we're talking about the greatest of all time. But if you can impart, a few of those habits with a consistent, frequency, you'll be amazed how you will, instead of go, lateral, that you will start climbing vertical with regards to production, communication, absorption, and financial outcome, right? You'll do better. Your ROI is better. Great in, great out, crap in, crap out. And, I think that, again, that all starts with knowing and identifying what you are as a leader, and then, seeking people to complement you and ultimately work independent. There's so many times, I'm at that age now where, I'm supposed to be the person that's a wealth of information, but I think, I think you want to lean on people. And even like today, I have a business transaction going on, and I reached out to people that I consider excellent resources that I know have had a ton of business dealings and got great sound advice. So when I go back to that conversation again, I'm fueled with knowledge, and it gives me a better position to emphasize my point from. I don't want to say argue, but if I'm going to have a conversation, I want to be able to get my point across and get the outcome, the desired outcome I'm seeking. But again, when we talk about building that team and leadership, you're never going to have a team that goes the direction if you don't put in consistent effort, nurturing it and growing it and showing them what you want. And then again, rewarding them for what they're doing right. And unfortunately, acknowledging what they're doing wrong. I heard a great line as far as instead of constructive criticism, because I don't think anybody likes the word criticism, but when you say constructive feedback, I think that's a great way to give people input to say, hey, listen, I think if you did it this way, you might get a better outcome. And at the end of the day, who doesn't want to do a great job, right? There's very few people that come into work and say, hey, I want to suck today. I'm going to be terrible. And you know what? I'm proud of that effort. Said no one ever. I think that everybody wants to be better. I just don't think everybody knows the way. And I think it's the job of the leader to show them the way. And again, I think there'll be a lot of repetition in my podcast when I'm going solo. I need help with this. And, after this last 3 years, kind of recreating myself, my business, my brand, I realized that I needed a strong personality coach, someone that I could look at and learn from. And, I grabbed, a person that, not even realizing it's something that he teaches, is, based on fitness, family, values, go back to any component of fitness, exercise, and then repetition, consistency, dedication, determination, competitive nature. And when I grabbed a hold of that, in this, the coach that I've recently acquired in Andy Elliott, I thought it was a massive, what's the word I'm looking for? Alignment, if you will. Because if I want to get there, I've always felt like I'm almost there. I can't get there. To bridge that gap, my goal is to put somebody in place that I can do that with. And I feel like having a coach that's going to give me that nudge is the way. And the one thing that I used to say when I was on the basketball court with my elite players is, hey guys, God made you. I'm just showing you how to bring that incredible ability, to your audience, to your competition, and be great. The same thing, like I know it's in there, but I think everybody needs a coach, because for me to be, a better leader, I needed to have somebody that is going to come right at me and call me out and say, hey man, you know what? You're not doing that good, and if you expect it to be a great outcome, then you got to give a great effort. And so I think too many people take shortcuts. And I think, too many of us are quick to say it's, our staff or it's our partners or it's something like that. And they're not looking in the mirror. And, to me, I want to be at the point where I say, hey, listen, I gave it everything I could. I crushed it. And my team was behind me. And if I'm not that way, then I want to shut the doors. I don't want to do it anymore. If I'm not all in, then I'm not in at all. And that's something that is going to be my message to my team, to anybody I'm coaching, anybody I'm working with in the clinical side, because I feel like that gives you a level of commitment that kind of memorializes it to the relationships you're building, that you're serious and you're committed. So again, today's was about being a powerful message. Sometimes a podcast can kind of run on. This wasn't. This is about, if you want to be a strong leader, then you need to make sure when you look in the mirror that you have characteristics of a leader you want to be. You need to develop that, and you need to sharpen it like it's a blade every day. Every morning I get up and I work on these things, and I want to do better at it so that, that consistent and deliberate learning and nurturing of it, kind of transcends and changes me into what I'm looking to be. And when I'm working with, different businesses, different practices, or, honing in my team, I can do it because I know I put in the work. So anyway, thank you so much for joining me today. Again, this podcast is about building out a great team, and that starts with you. And if you're trying to build your team, you're trying to improve your position, you're trying to improve your, financial return on what you're doing, you're trying to have a better life, it starts with you. Work on yourself, and you'll be amazed how the team around you gets remarkably better. Have a great day, and we'll see you again soon. Thank you so much for joining us today.